Can Samsung prove that with the same battery capacity as the previous generation, it can go further and do more? Well, let's find out with this extreme battery drain test between the Galaxy S25 versus the iPhone 16 versus the Pixel 9 on mobile data only with no Wi-Fi option. Let's get into it. No time wasting, let's kick things off with this extreme battery drain test between the Samsung Galaxy S25, the iPhone 16 and the Pixel 9. Now we will go through the full parameters of how we set up for this extreme battery drain test with things like screen brightness calibration, the battery settings, the software version, and more. But for now, all you need to know is that we are doing this on mobile data only with no Wi-Fi option, and we did shoot this as one continuous video with no stops and no gaps, and we are only speeding it up in the important places so you do not have to sit around for hours like I had to. If you don't believe me, then check the link in the description below because we actually did this as a continuous live stream in 4K UHD so you can see everything happening in real time. So if you appreciate the effort that we put into our extreme battery drain test, then be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos on the Lover of Tech channel, especially when it comes to our extreme battery drain test. Road to 100,000 subscribers is back on the table for 2025. Let's try and do it by the midway point of this year. If not, hey, let's just get it for 2025, and with your help, we can make it happen. Right, 8 applications, 9 tasks. The first hour, we are doing 4K 60 FPS recording on a main 1x wide sensor on the S25, iPhone 16, and the Pixel 9. And we're pretty much going to be seeing how things are going to be when it comes to the battery loss, the percentage left, and also the temperature reading at each 1 hour interval. So yeah, things are pretty much like this for how we're doing it for the 2025 version of our extreme battery drain test compared to 2024. After 1 hour 4K 60 recording on the main 1x sensor, we've got 80% battery, 42.7 degrees Celsius, minus 20% battery loss on the S25. Then we've got 89% battery, 36.8 degrees Celsius, minus 11% battery loss on the iPhone 16, and then 83% battery, 42.7 degrees Celsius, minus 17% battery loss on the Pixel 9. So in terms of just battery loss, the iPhone is the most efficient, then followed by the Pixel 9, and then you've got the Galaxy S25. What you have to remember is you're seeing the battery ratings in the middle, below the names, and of course the chipset that they're running. The Pixel does have the biggest battery, so the percentage loss isn't necessarily related to the milliamps loss. But in this particular situation, the iPhone is very efficient, and considering it's got the smallest battery by a decent amount compared to the S25 and especially the Pixel 9, that's impressive so far. But just remember, it does use a 60 Hz display. Next is 1 hour of Instagram live streaming. And of course, this is something I do on a personal and a regular basis where I like to jump on Instagram live, engage with my audience in terms of Q&As, and also just co-collaboratively live streaming with my content creator buddies and engaging with their audience as well. There's something I do on a regular basis. So if you want to actually see more of it, then definitely head over and follow us on Instagram at loveroftech_BA. After an hour, this is on mobile data, 55%, 45.5 degrees Celsius, minus 25% battery loss on the S25. Ouch. And then we've got 63% battery, 43.0 degrees Celsius, minus 26% battery loss on the iPhone 16. Bigger ouch. And then 66% battery, 42.1 degrees Celsius, minus 17% battery loss on the Pixel 9. Pixel 9 is the most efficient, followed by the Galaxy S25 and then the iPhone 16 based on percentage battery lost, right? Doesn't refer to the milliamps lost, but this is just the percentage that we're reading. And this is very interesting. Wow. Instagram live on mobile data on the selfie camera, it's very, very intense. It can be one of the most intensive parts of our extreme battery drain test. Next is TikTok. And TikTok, like I always say, it's like the wicked Wild West. And things are still in limbo for my USA users in terms of using this application and creating content for it. Man, they're trying to follow what India have done where they just want to ban it. But hey, we just don't know what the saga is. And if you want to see more from us when it comes to vertical related content for tech, then definitely hit us up on TikTok, Lover of Tech BA for more. Now, when we get to the 3 hour mark, it is 39% battery, 36.9 degrees Celsius, minus 16% battery loss on the S25, and then 47% battery, 36.6 degrees Celsius, minus 16% battery loss on the iPhone 16, and then 52% battery, 37.5 degrees Celsius, minus 14% battery loss on the Pixel 9. As we're seeing in terms of the efficiency for percentage loss is the Pixel, and it's joint tied with the S25 and the iPhone 16. This is very interesting because the deficit in the percentage, wow, the S25 is taking big hits here, and we're just at the 3-hour mark. So there's a lot to consider, and we really need to see if it's actually going to claw it back in any way, because the gap compared to even the Pixel 9 is huge at the minute. Right, as we're going in, the next application is an hour of Instagram Reels. And I've said it, Instagram has easily become pretty much my favorite social media platform when it comes to sending memes and Reels, to my friends and family and keeping up with them. But most importantly, behind the scenes. If you want to see high quality behind the scenes of what we're getting up to at Lover of Tech, from simple day in the life to what is actually being released and the content that we're prepping up so you can see what's coming next, then definitely follow us on Instagram, man. I've been enjoying doing that, especially when it comes to stories. After an hour with Instagram Reels, we've got 24% battery, 37.6 degrees Celsius, minus 15% battery loss on S25, and then 35% battery, 33.8 degrees Celsius, minus 12% battery loss on the iPhone 16, and then 37% battery, 39.8 degrees Celsius, minus 15% battery loss on the Pixel 9. That is very, very interesting. Things have dropped slightly below a quarter battery for the S25 after 4 hours. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to claw it back because it's 11% behind the iPhone 16 and it's a good 13% behind what we're seeing on the Pixel 9. And of course, battery size comes into consideration, chipsets come into consideration, and most importantly, software optimization comes into consideration. Let's move over. Next is an hour of YouTube at 1440p 60 fps streaming on mobile data, full screen experience. And this is with our definitive camera comparison with the Galaxy S24 Ultra versus the iPhone 15 Pro Max and the Pixel 8 Pro at the time when it came out, January 2024, when I went to Unpacked for the S24 series. Now, this part is really testing the modem and the display at full screen. So this is where we can see that most amount of mobile data is used, but how's that going to bear on the battery life? Now, after the 5-hour mark, 1 hour of YouTube, we are now on 9% battery, 37.7 degrees Celsius, minus 15% battery loss on the S25. Ooh, this is not good. 16% battery, 38.2 degrees Celsius, minus 19% battery loss on the iPhone 16. And then 24% battery, 37.9 degrees Celsius, minus 13% battery loss on the Pixel 9. Yeah, we're now in the single digits and we're pretty much going to be going to YouTube Music next. I'm not too sure if this Galaxy S25 is going to be going to a 6-hour mark when it comes to what we're seeing right now. It's quite worrying because the others are kind of still comfortable, especially the Pixel 9. Now, 1 hour of YouTube Music, of course, pretty much one of my favorite rap albums of all time, Kanye West's College Dropout. And boy, I always get to this part and I look forward to it, how it really just boosts my energy. But you can see I'm having to baby the Galaxy S25 because its screen times out much quicker. And it did this and it died at 5 hours, 36 minutes and 15 seconds, a final temperature reading of 38.6 degrees Celsius. In third place is the Galaxy S25. You're gonna notice compared to my S24 battery drain test that I did last year, the order of how I did the 2024 edition and the 2025 edition of this extreme battery drain test is different. So that could potentially skew it. But for pure screen on time, it does look like the S24 from last year, even though it was powered by Exynos 2400, was better. Well, let's see. We get to the 1 hour mark for the YouTube Music testing, 6 hours in, 1% battery, 38.1 degrees Celsius, minus 15% battery loss on the iPhone 16. And we've got 12% battery, 37.2 degrees Celsius, minus 12% battery loss on the Pixel 9. Pixel 9 has got this. There's no way the iPhone is clawing back with just 1% battery left as we start X Spaces or Twitter Spaces. Are you X or are you Twitter? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, when we get into this, we can see that right now it's just a matter of waiting to see when the iPhone kicks in. And it does kick in 6 hours, 7 minutes, and 5 seconds. Final temperature reading of 37.1 degrees Celsius. In second place is the iPhone 16. Man, considering the battery capacity, the optimization when it comes to software, battery, and chipset is really in favor on the iPhone 16. But again, remember, it is just running a 60 Hz display compared to 120 Hz on the other two. Now, how long is it going to be for the Pixel 9 to go the distance? Is it going to make it to the 7-hour mark for it to start gaming? Who would have thought Google would be the one in pole position by a landslide amount compared to the other two? This is something that is incredible to watch, and we've got to give them credit. We're at 6 hours, 45 minutes. We're still going. How far is it going to go? Is it going to make it to the 7-hour mark? Is it actually going to do that and start gaming in the next section? But actually it doesn't. It does die at 6 hours, 56 minutes and 8 seconds. It does give us a final temperature reading of 36.5 degrees Celsius. In first place is the Google Pixel 9. So in third place is the Samsung Galaxy S25 with a finishing time of 5 hours, 36 minutes and 15 seconds. Now, to get below 6 hours, yeah, I think Samsung potentially might have to rethink the battery configuration with the smaller base model S series, 4000 milliamps with this chipset configuration and software optimization. Yeah, it can learn user patterns, but honestly, for pure extreme screen on time, like what we test with our extreme battery drain test on mobile data only, yeah, this is quite low. So to see it having this score in terms of time, it's a bit worrying. Maybe they need to consider putting a bigger battery. But for now, this is what we have with the S25 in third place. Finishing time 5 hours, 36 minutes and 15 seconds. And in second place is the Apple iPhone 16 with a finishing time of 6 hours, 7 minutes and 5 seconds. Now, this is a great improvement for Apple compared to the iPhone 15. When we were testing the iPhone 15 last year, it was getting somewhere around 4.5 hours, some of the lowest battery score that we'll get for pure screen on testing when we were actually doing our extreme battery drain test. So this is a great improvement, especially considering the battery capacity. It is good. But as a disclaimer, it is still running a 60 Hz display. So take that experience for what it is. But for now, in our controlled extreme battery drain test, it's second place for the iPhone 16, finishing time 6 hours, 7 minutes and 5 seconds. And in first place for this extreme battery drain test is the Google Pixel 9 with a finishing time of 6 hours, 56 minutes and 8 seconds. Bravo, Google, for optimizing your battery configuration for your base model Pixel device. Yes, Google have actually played it very smart. They knew to put a much bigger battery in there. They optimized it with what they had with the power envelope and the efficiency envelope with the Tensor G4 chipset. And also their optimization with Android 15 looks to be really kicking in. The margin of win against the S25 and also the iPhone 16 is huge. So yes, it does have the bigger battery. You would expect it to win, but it's utilized it really well. So credit where credit is due. Google, you've done a great job here. First place goes to the Pixel 9, finishing time 6 hours, 56 minutes and 8 seconds. A big thank you to keysoff.com for sponsoring a segment of this video. If you're looking for a great price on software keys for Windows 11, Windows 10, Microsoft Office products and more, then look no further than keysoff.com for great access, prices and reliable keys for your Microsoft-based products when it comes to Windows and Office. Where applicable, use my special discount code LOT50 and LOT62 for a huge 50% and 62% off your purchase at checkout. And thank you to Keys Off for sponsoring a segment of this video. Now for the juicy and important part. What were the parameters that we used to set up for this extreme battery drain test? Now, firstly, as stated, this was done on mobile data only with no Wi-Fi option. This is running on Vodafone UK's 4G prepaid network, and they all have the same SIM card with the same plan, which is the £15 big value bundle that does give you 20 gigabytes of data to use within a 30-day calendar month. Next is the display. Now, with a clear white background, we've calibrated each display as close to 200 nits as possible. All manner of adaptive and automatic brightness has been disabled to make sure that the brightness stays consistent all the way through for these devices. Now for the settings and setup, starting with the Galaxy S25. With the display, this is a 1080p display. There is no control to change the resolution. The adaptive 120Hz has also been enabled by default. The screen is in the vivid mode. And of course, as stated, any form of adaptive brightness, any form of true tone or adaptive tone display settings have been disabled for the most consistent experience all the way through for the display. Next is the battery settings. Under power saving, we've pretty much disabled anything that would give us an inconsistent battery experience all the way through, such as toggling off the limit CPU speed to 70%, turning off the always on display, decreasing the brightness by 10%, and also things like setting the smooth motion to standard, turning on dark mode, as well as setting the screen timeout to 30 seconds. All these things have been disabled to give us the most consistent experience as we can go through, and the maximum screen out time for the Galaxy S25 is 10 minutes. We've also toggled off the auto dim display at 5%, so the screen will not actually get darker at 5%, but it is still going to time out a lot quicker. Now, thanks to One UI 7 and Android 15 on the Galaxy S25, you have much more information when it comes to the battery. You can see the capacity at 4,000 milliamps. It is at 100% when it comes to battery health. There's only been 2 charge cycles at the time of this recording. And of course, it was manufactured as of the 25th of November, 2024, and first used on the 22nd of January, 2025, when I received my review unit after unpacked. Now, RAM Plus has been left on by default, which is the additional 4 gigabytes. And the most important thing here is the performance profile. Since this is the first extreme battery drain test that we are doing on the S25, we are leaving the performance profile on standard and checking the latest software update available. This is running One UI 7 with Android 15, and it is on the December patch for 2024. After checking, this is what we're getting when it comes to the software available for the S25. Now for the iPhone 16, and iPhones are usually very straightforward when it comes to setting these phones up for the extreme battery drain test, and it's even more true for the iPhone 16. Why? It is running a 60Hz display. There is no high refresh rate option at 90Hz or 120Hz. So when you go to accessibility under motion, there isn't a toggle to actually reduce the frame rate. There isn't a pro motion display here. Now, the most important thing is, of course, the battery health. When we go into the battery health, we can see that it is 100% with a charge cycle count below 10 at 9. And the battery was first manufactured in July 2024 and first used in October 2024. So I've looked after this one. It is still practically brand new. And at the time of this recording, checking the latest iOS version, it is running on 18.3. Now for the Google Pixel 9, starting with the display. This is a fixed 1080p display with no option to change the resolution. We do have the 120Hz option toggled on. By default, this is actually at 60Hz. We've enabled it at 120Hz for the maximum capability. When it comes to the display colors, it is on the adaptive. And of course, all these phones are running in their light mode. Now, when we head to the battery section, any form of adaptive battery settings have been toggled off. And anything that would dim the display when it comes to power saving mode have been put to standard or disabled to make sure that we get the most consistent experience when it comes to battery on the Pixel 9. And checking the software available for the Pixel 9 at the time of doing this extreme battery drain test, which was on the 2nd of February 2025, we are running the January software update with Android 15. Now that is it with this extreme battery drain test between the S25, the iPhone 16, and the Pixel 9. Were you equally as shocked as I was with these results, or was it exactly what you were expecting? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. That's it for me, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this, you know exactly what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. I hope you're all safe during this time. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.